Apparently we have a problem with youth in Glebe. I know this because I read the Sydney Morning Herald and went forced to in a professional capacity the Daily Telegraph. But when I read somebody writing to the Herald telling me that when they see the young people of Glebe, they see a generation of pure evil looking back at them, and this is one of the Herald letters, I have to wonder to myself, what would satisfy the writer? Should we then just take away these young people and gas them, or take the Argentinian route and just take them off into the hills and shoot them? I have to, both professionally and personally as a resident of Glebe, hope that there's a more substantial solution and a better solution to our problems. Firstly, I hear very often that community members tell me that kids do what they do around Glebe because they're bored. Yet these young people have more to do than most young people in the inner west. They certainly have more to do than I had growing up in Bathurst and Orange. Glebe Youth Service and PCYC have a great range of programs, from sport, general drop-in, formal programs like the Re-Engage education program that we run down at Glebe Youth Service. The City of Sydney have funded us to run activities on Friday and Saturday nights. Nobody gets Friday and Saturday nights paid for. Very few areas have these sort of evening programs. So it's probably more accurate to say that young people from the Glebe estate are stealing, not just because they're bored, but because they're bored and poor. A young person with better resources can do a lot more about it when they're bored, and I think this is really clear when we look at the difference between a top population of young people and bottom population of young people. In fact, why do we even refer to youth crime? As though crime from a young person is somehow different and distinct from other crime that we experience. Certainly when we heard historically from Max about the crime in Glebe, it's really clear that there's been crime in Glebe across the generations. And youth crime, as it's developed as a concept in the media, is actually a very sort of fairly new concept. I really don't remember hearing about youth crime as a problem when I was a youth, certainly, and I'm sure there was issues. Well, possibly that's right, but certainly the magistrate said nothing, Chris. So we've got some sort of investment as a society in viewing young people as some sort of problematic other rather than an integral part of our community. Jeff's touched on some of the things that I'm going to talk about here. But unless we're willing to embrace our young people as our own young people, we have little possibility of reducing crime. If there is a crime problem, a specific crime problem in Glebe, it's actually a problem for us all. It's not a youth problem, it's a Glebe problem. It's not just the parents, it's certainly not the youth workers, I hope. It's not the police or any other group that can be blamed for this. For us to successfully address the crime that we do have, or any of the other issues we have with young people, we have to successfully engage the young people in change. This may require, as Jeff pointed out, not just the people that are actively involved at the moment, but all of us. Crime has a political meaning for young disadvantaged people. Certainly young people will take a very basic political stance in justifying their actions around theft. When a visitor to Glebe parks in a clearly expensive car in Cowper Street and leaves their laptop on the seat, and this happens much more than you might think, young people will describe their theft of the laptop as a redistribution of wealth, i.e. he's got fucking everything and I've got fucking nothing. I've heard that a lot.
True, bro.
It is basic politics and badly expressed, but it is political. Young Aboriginal people also see much of their crime as a site of resistance. Again, the concepts are sometimes poorly expressed, but it's worth noting that the difference between a freedom fighter or a valued activist from our generation and a criminal has a lot to do with who wins rather than who's actually right. When they run for police, and they run even when they've done nothing wrong, Aboriginal kids are playing out a relationship that was established many generations ago. I don't think I need to cover in this speech the unethical and illegal treatment that's been perpetrated on Aboriginal people by the state. The police and other authorities, such as dogs, who the young people also have a real problem with, were the tools of the state in carrying out these abuses, and we cannot be surprised at an ongoing culture of mistrust. Also, I'd say there's an unfortunate acceptance of violence and crime in Glebe as part of the Glebe estate, and Max has referred to some of the multiple historical underpinnings of this culture of violence and crime. It's a sad reality. I've been very embarrassed to see parents or other community elders fighting verbally and sometimes physically in the street. It's unsurprising then that young people are quite calm about having a go, as they call their physical and quite dangerous fights. The young people are admirably free here of sexism in this matter. Girls in Glebe fight as well. So we have on some level a culture that includes violence and crime. Max has pointed out this is hardly a new development. Sadly too, some time in jail is seen by some in the Glebe community as an acceptable part of the job of being a criminal. For the people that have never been associated with crime, it seems quite shocking that young people might accept that a criminal life is a vocation or a job that they might do, and that they might take that on in the same way as an apprenticeship, or be a fitter and turner, or be a break and enter artist. But for them down there, the reality is that it's all around them. They're as suffused in that oeuvre as we are in ours, so it's not surprising. I'm suggesting that unless we're all prepared to go beyond blame and focus on outcomes, we'll never get the change we're looking for. In this context, we all have a responsibility to do what we can to affect change. This might be unpalatable for some, but the answer actually lies all around us. Some community members have cracked the code, and you see them in Glebe all the time, and they're living in harmony with the youth that we see as trouble. The solutions include, but aren't limited to, mentoring a young person from your family, work, or a local sporting team, or any other place where you come in contact with them. Show some real interest when meeting young people. Get to know them. Find out what they're all about. Once you show interest, they will show that respect back to you. Organise a street barbecue or some other event and invite the kids and parents that concern you. Don't discuss your concerns at the barbecue. Just get to know these people and find out who they are and what they're about. It can be extremely powerful. And certainly, young people that I deal with are far less likely to offend against somebody that they know and know well. There's some faces in the room that come down and volunteer at the youth service. Young people are never going to hurt those people. Young people are never going to take their property. Young people are those people do not have to be scared of the young people in Glebe. In fact, volunteer at any organisation that addresses disadvantage, because disadvantage is actually at the core of this problem. If we can help the families of Glebe, if we can raise the socio-economic status of the families in Glebe, then the youth crime will reduce. This is a very simple equation. Government don't like to talk about it. Media don't like to talk about it, because they have an investment in titillating the public with these stories of youth crime and fear and danger. But it's a very simple equation. Talk to your government and your government representatives about social capital, and know that if we raise that standard of living, the people will come with us in terms of behaviour as well. Lobby your local government, and this is my own little plug, for increasing policing, youth programs, or anything that you see as a solution. I know that when we discussed the talk tonight, and we wondered who would be here, and we wondered, okay, is there going to be people that are angry about kids in Glebe and want more police? Are there going to be people that are desperate for more programs in Glebe, and what's going to be the crowd? The reality is we need all of these things. We need more policing. We need better youth programs. We need more money going to education for young people. We're very aware of the situation, I'm sure, of Glebe High School being a year 11 and 12 school. There is no local high school for the young people of Glebe. If we think this is a problem, we should be talking to people about this. In short, the only solution to these issues are to get involved as an individual. Blame is no good. We won't be able to sue somebody for the reduction in our house prices in Glebe if things turn worse. All we'll be able to do is have to live with it. So if we get out, if we get involved, we can actually not just create a better situation for the kids that we're worried about, but also we'll gain the benefits of better social cohesion. We'll actually be able to take the joy that Jeff was talking about walking around the streets of Glebe. I love it. I mean, I'm in the lucky group because I can walk anywhere in Glebe at any time of the day or night. I'm engaged with these groups. And so I can feel the joy of being around Glebe and being sort of known in Glebe. Everyone loves it. And that's a great feeling to have. This is why we live in the suburb of Glebe largely, I believe. So all I can say to you is get involved. We'll find a way forward. And the young people will come with us if we give them the respect and the responsibility and the assistance they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Glebe resident and activist.